What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another Grizz 901. We are live, the post-game show right after the play-in game that just went off. The Grizzlies do go down to the Golden State Warriors 121-116. In all, it was a hard-fought game. It was a game that the Grizzlies fought back. Ja gets hurt. We don't know what's going to happen if Ja's going to be able to come back within the game, but it happens. He comes back. Very much a gutty effort. We're going to get into all of that and much more. Tonight was a game the Grizzlies had to have to stay out of the potential 8th spot of the play-in. They would be able to take on the Houston Rockets, but at this point, they're now going to have to play the winner of tomorrow night's game of the Sacramento Kings and the Dallas Mavericks. So there will be a little bit of a look ahead from Nate and I as we look into this game. As we the upcoming game, the look ahead a little bit as we further along the show. We're going to break down the show as we always do here at Grizz 901, but it's been a fun night. I've been out with Bluff City Media out at Ghost River Brewing, and so shout out to Bob and his team. Incredible job by Rusty and Kenny for putting on the event and having everybody there together, being able to watch and just share in the community that is the Grizz community and the Bluff City Media community. But listen, I know it's a down night. We're going to get you through it. We're going to talk you off the ledge or maybe put you on the ledge. We're going to get through this all together tonight as we get to Nate. Well, hello there, friend.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the snow globe just yet.
Sucked. No snow globe tonight. That sucked. I hated that. That's gross, dude. Kleiman should have sold the farm for Jimmy Butler. If I know he's going to get 20 shots, you don't get the contest every game. Jesus age, dude. The refs tried to freaking sell for the Grizz at the end, and they still shot like twice as many free throws. It was crazy. Not the only thing went wrong for the Grizzlies tonight, but this is one of the few nights that, as mad as I get the refs, there's usually a ton of reasons. I feel like the team loses if they lose. Bro. Grizzlies shot better percentage from everywhere tonight, out-rebounded that team, did everything better, but shot 11 less free throws somehow. It was wild. It was wild. But
yep. No doubt. We'll get into all of that as we always do. We'll get into kind of off the top, but first things first. Listen, if you send in a super chat, we're going to get to you right away. I don't care when it is. We'll interrupt the effing show. But our guy, Titan MVP, as always, coming in here with another super chat, man. I can't thank you enough for doing this, but we very much the same sentiment here. As I really, really can't stand Draymond. With that all said, the boys showed out with a lot of fight tonight. Yeah. The question is, Nate, I know we're going to get way ahead of ourselves, but it doesn't matter. He paid his money. You're going to answer the question. I like the coaching. Do you think he will stick, Nate?
It's time to start interviewing. New coach, same coach, dude. There was some stuff that was questionable. Like in the second half, they made adjustments. Edey had a much better second half after they put him in every action known to man in the first half, and he just kept getting cooked left and right. They did make some adjustments, but how you don't come into that game with that plan. I mean, one team clearly had a plan in the first half, and the other team clearly didn't.
Yeah.
That was pretty rough to watch. But really what killed me was when John Morant goes down and you leave Bane on the bench for another 2 minutes in a game like that. I know Bane is the only one who kind of even kissed 40. I think him and Jaren both were at 39.
You're forgetting somebody, but we'll get to him later.
But dude, you have to you can't in that game let something like that happen. Anyways, yeah, I don't think he's done a horrible job. I'm well on record of I think this roster is beyond flawed. Yeah. Flawed is an extremely nice way of saying what I tend to say. At the same time, I don't think you've proven anything.
Yeah,
like that.
No.
Oh, Jerry, I didn't blame Edey. You weren't.
There's a lot of blame to go around with the game tonight. I will say, and not to and we'll kind of completely steer away from this Titan MVP. I think the coaching was very rookie-ish, and that's what sucks. Is you can't have so many guys out of the lineup, especially this late into the game. And honestly, like the late game execution wasn't there either. That's a rookie coach in a sense, and that's what we get. So, is he a bad coach? I wouldn't say he's a bad coach. I think he's very young, and at this point, I don't think he is what's best for this team. We'll see. The writing will be on the wall as we get to the summer. There's going to be a lot of names that are going to be let go probably coming up very soon. There's already has been a lot of movement, but any of that, let's get into it. Off the top rope, Nate, as we always do, your thoughts just entirely about the game.
I'm sad. Listen, in all seriousness, like I truly think at the end there were so many brutal calls against the Warriors at the end of the game. It almost is like on purpose to like make it where you can't talk about how much the refs sold for the majority of that game. I mean, absolutely legendary whistle for Golden State. But that shouldn't take away from the fact that it was a really good game with guys who played really well on both sides. Like Ja played well. Dez played well. I thought Edie had a really good second half. I thought Santi, despite the 5 seconds at the end, played a really good game. Scotty's box score doesn't look incredible, but he played really well. But then on the Warrior side, I mean, you just had 2 guys who just killed you. And I mean, they got 25 from the free throw. Again, I'm not trying to sit there and just say it was all officiating tonight, but dude, those guys combined for what, 70? Was it 70 when it was all said and done? Those 2 dudes?
Yes. Well, more.
71, I think was that exact.
Almost 80.
Oh wow. And 25 that comes from the free throw line, and some pretty 75 stuff. But Butler played really well, Curry played really well, and then at the very end, Curry just did what Curry does, right? I mean, at the end, if Curry doesn't hit those big shots, you still, I mean, if he doesn't hit those shots, you likely win the game, right? And Curry just hit them, right? He's, I think, the greatest player of his generation, and he showed it in those final minutes. So, he played well. I thought Scotty played as hard as you can play. You're undersized playing against Steph Curry. That's just not much you can ask for, right? Like you need your guys. And I think if you have Jalen Wells and Brandon Clark, that game could end up looking a lot differently. But they played really well. Let's go ahead and knock out the bad, which was 2 of your 3 guys showed up. And the other one, it did not beat the allegations tonight. Bro, I don't know what to do with Jaren. I mean, he's getting sped up. Jimmy Butler just swiped him like 3 different times tonight. It felt like he couldn't hit that little hook that he's been going up to. I mean, he hit a few big threes. So I don't want to say he completely didn't show up, but dude, you just needed more from him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't there.
Well, if you look at it just overall, the Grizzlies have 19 turnovers to the 10 turnovers by the Golden State Warriors. And if you look at it, the steals are going to follow that, right? So you have the Golden State Warriors with 13 steals compared to the 4 steals of Memphis. That's the biggest thing. Like when you come down to being able to, I guess, just covet the ball, like not giving it up freely, or not just honestly just throwing just stupid stuff down the stretch. There's a lot of issues just overall within the team. There's a lot that they did well. And I know we're talking about, Jaren at this point. Jaren plays the most minutes with 39 minutes just overall on the Grizzlies. Butler played 40. Curry played 39 on the other side. On our side, the other person that joined him with 39 was Desmond Bane. Ja obviously goes out, but he still has 35 minutes. It was a game that you had to have one of the other guys step up alongside Ja. Bane steps up, right? But unfortunately, Ja can't step up because he's hurt. And I give Ja all the credit in the world, because that's an injury that is, it's not tough. I wouldn't say it's not easy to come back from at all, right? You're in the moment, so you're okay. The problem, we're going to look forward to this a little bit later on. I'm nervous about next game because that ankle is going to balloon after this game's over, because that was adrenaline he played with. So at this point, I'm not even sure what happens in the next game. we'll talk about it. And but overall, we'll break down. But one thing before we get too far into this, I can't say enough to everybody that is in here. The comments are going so fast. I have zero chance to keep up with what in the H that y'all are talking about tonight, because I'm trying my best to kind of pick out stuff as you're talking. But I promise you, there's so many of y'all that y'all are discussing the game, and I love that. Everybody's having a good time. We'll try to do whatever we can to make sure we pick out comments as we go, and we'll kind of work through them. But if you do have something you want to say, go ahead, hit a super chat, and we'll make sure that we can see those because they stick out differently. But we'll get to them as we can. But my thoughts on Jaren, just overall, I think he played soft. I don't think he played with purpose. And at that point, that's why
not an all-out war.
No, it doesn't make sense. But let's get to the very end of the game. The 5-second call. Why?
Dude, well, first off, I will say fastest 5-second call I've ever seen in the NBA. I mean, I've seen guys get 9 on 7 seconds in that situation before. So extremely quick 5 seconds by Mr. Tibbins, in my opinion. At the same time, I don't know what they were trying to get to. You had Desmond Bane, who's your best 3-point shooter, running all the way to the back corner. You've got Luke Kennard cutting across to the other corner, but you don't have anything trying to get either one of those guys open. Like, you're not trying to get the ball to Jaren either. He's setting the screens, but he's not actually rolling to anything after that. And you got Ja Morant just posting up about to get. I'm like, okay, if you do get that ball to Ja, what do you think is going to happen?
Right.
Like, you're just going to foul him. So you're not even getting the shot off. Like, sometimes you can look and be like, hey, that just didn't work, or they just read that. I was like, dude, like, what were you trying to get to on that?
Yeah.
Like, out of everything that was going to happen, Luke was going to be covered beyond covered, right? Luke has to be a decoy, because unless they just completely botch the coverage, Luke Kennard's getting a shot off, not getting a shot off. Like, we've seen that happen in non-clutch situations. He's not getting that shot off.
Yeah.
That ball has to get to Ja or Dez, and neither one of them was going to be able to get a shot off. Like, I mean, Dez was like, you would have to go full Kyler Murray, D-hop down there somewhere.
Well, you do have 5 seconds, though. Let's not. The main goal is just getting the ball in. Like, there has to be a relief valve on a play. Like, you're running action to get to somebody, and there has to be a relief guy.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what they were trying to do.
And I get that they went with Santi because he is a 7-footer and he's taller, so he's able to see more of the court. Unfortunately, Santi's not a good passer, right? Like, he's not a good distributor. Jaren is definitely not a good passer. At that point, you want to be able to get the ball into Bane, Ja or Kennard there. But in my opinion, I don't know who else you would put in that position. But unfortunately, like, Santi has done that many a times throughout the season. And so at this point, we're asking a guy who's did this exact same stuff to make a clutch play, and he still did not. And so I don't know why. Maybe put Edie out there, and because whatever, he's definitely not doing anything good, but just leave him off the court and just say, hey, you pass the ball in. Do not enter on the court at any moment.
No, I mean, I don't love Santi getting that ball in, but I also don't know who you're going to give it to. Because, like, if you give it to Ja, they're going to put someone huge on him. It's going to make that pass pretty hard to make. Right. Also, Ja's one of the guys that in that situation you like to get the ball to.
But you can get it back to him. You can always get it back to the inbounder.
You can, but I would bet that the Warriors, as veteran as they are and as experienced as they are, they have a guy who says, hey, stick to him no matter what. Right. So it's iffy, but it's much better than not getting it to anybody. Like, same thing, dude. There could be something that somebody just didn't do their job on that play. But I looked down, I was like, I have no idea what they were trying to get to on that. Not a clue. But
yeah, that's part of it, and that's the unfortunate part of this is just there's so many dumb decisions that happen throughout the game that just lose you possessions, and you can't have that happen. Let's get to a little bit of the defense just overall, because I don't want to spend too much time. And Art's saying Conchar. I actually do like Conchar. Conchar is very timid with the ball when he's inbounding it either. He does make good decisions, but I don't think he makes aggressive decisions. And so I probably wouldn't choose him either. And so same exact thing. I just want somebody. that makes really good decisions. Vince, I would rather put him in the locker room and tie him to the chair than allow him to get out there and throw that ball in.
We'll talk about that in a minute, but the Vince thing is just, I mean, that really hurt this team's opportunities. Also, Jalen, don't want you to think I miss it. You're still a nerd. Just want you to know that.
The defense, there were no adjustments pretty much throughout the entire game. Like, I didn't see any. I don't understand where the adjustments might have happened at any moment. It was continual drop coverage, which I still don't get why there's no hedging, especially on a guy like, Steph Curry. But the other thing is like we were playing off of Draymond as well as playing off of Jimmy to the point of when we closed out, we were closing out hard, which Jimmy's just going right by people. Even if you were 2 steps off of Jimmy, you were not able to defend him. Why? I don't understand, because he's not like he's running through there and he's lightning quick. I don't understand the defense, and I don't understand the understanding of why we can't keep people from running just straight front lines to the rim, and it just does not make sense. Jimmy Butler did not play this well tonight. He did get a lot of free throws. I get that, but overall, he didn't play well enough to have this big of a night.
Nah, dude. I mean, you have it's like trifold. Again, I don't know, man. I don't know how you got a roster together that is that young and that unathletic, but you did. And not having anybody not Vince Williams not working out for you crushed what this team was supposed to be defensively. I mean, crushed it. And again, I think there's a lot of stuff injury-wise that happened. We know there's a lot of injury stuff that happened, but I think that led to a lot of confidence issues too with Vince. He just doesn't look like he is nearly as confident on either side of the ball with that, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that. So, I mean, Vince could absolutely turn around next year, but it crushed what happened because you don't have any perimeter defenders, right? Especially when Jalen Wells goes down, which even with that, you're asking a rookie to guard guys like Steph Curry. And that's tough, but that kills your point of attack. So you don't have any guys that can really defend on the perimeter.
Right.
And then after that, you also have a big who is not switchable going against guys like that. Yeah. And then you just have guys who just lack discipline. I mean, honestly, Jaren got lost a bunch tonight.
Well, speaking of that, Jackson Hayes just saying that the coach, Tumas, I heard it the right way, Tumas Isolo. So it's not it is Iasolo. It is. It's whatever. There's a pronunciation there. So it's Iasolo. Why? I don't know. Whatever. So Coach T.I. said tonight that the reason that they put Edey on Jimmy, the reason Jimmy got straight front lines to the rim was to keep Jaren out of foul trouble. But as Jackson's saying here is it's sad that we still can't trust Jaren to stay out of foul trouble in issues like this. So
it is, but also that's part of the reason I think you got to start doing interviews, because the other option is you have to trust Zach Edey to guard Jimmy Butler, and at the end of the day, it's like your best players got to perform or you're done. Your best players have to perform or you're done. Now, maybe he wouldn't have performed, but you can't do that in a game like that, right? I mean, and to their credit, second half, things worked a lot better for them. Right? I felt like there was more discipline. They had a better game plan on Curry. They had a better game plan on defense. But I just you can't sit there and say, hey, we're going to bubble wrap this dude. As far as you can't say we're going to keep Jaren as safe as we possibly can in a game like that. Yeah. Can't do it. So I think it's one of those things where I understand, generally speaking, what you're saying, but you can't do that in a game like this.
Well, it's getting so bad that we have King Meeks and Kip Gordon doing the full interviews tonight and early in the morning looking for coaches. And so if you have a resume, go ahead and put it into at Grizz901 Live on Twitter, and we'll make sure that Kip and King Meeks get your resume so they can start the interview process tonight. So we want to make sure that we get the right coach for the people. This is for the people. It's not for us. For the people. And I see a lot of names coming through here. Art over in Brazil, thank you for hanging out with us. He's saying it's almost morning here. Well, listen, it's 12:21 here, and Central local time here in Memphis. So I get it. It's been a long night. It's been a long few days for me for sure. But I know we've been talking a lot of the players just overall. Let's talk about Zach Edey. Obviously, he is a guy who is going. Listen, if you weren't there tonight, if you missed whatever the watch along party, the watch whatever show over at the Ghost River, it was awesome. It was fun. Met a lot of people. If I was able to meet you, please, by all means, tell me what your name is in the chat. Say if we met, I would love to kind of connect with people who I met and was able to say hello to. But at the halftime, I was talking to Anthony Sane there we were on the microphones, and I shared that if the Grizzlies want to win, they had to figure out a way to go away from Zach Edey. And then you know what? Zach Edey has somewhat of a decent second half. He played bad at times, but he actually did play okay.
Yeah, good second half.
It was fine, but he still lost. He still lost guys so much on. So it is what it is. Like I think he had a fine second half for him. I wish we would have somebody that's a little bit more agile to play defense. I do think he had a lot of good rebounds, extra possessions, which is really what you really do need on this team because nobody else is doing that. So I love that he's rebounding. That is really the biggest thing. He missed so many just stupid shots at the front of the rim that are like turnovers. But in the end, I don't blame this for Edey at all. He's rebounding well. He played a good game. I just hate that we don't have, I guess, the team or the defense that can keep guys from frontline drives. But just thoughts on Edey tonight on your opinion.
I mean, brutal first half. First half was like, oh my God, they're putting him in every action ever. And then the team's scrambling. And then once they're scrambling against Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, it either ends in a wide open 3 or free throws. And you're just dead, right? Second half, infinitely better. Complete turnaround. I mean, was getting you second possessions, was where he needed to be defensively. Every once in a while, those guys are just going to get open on those screens, right? But same thing we were talking about a minute ago. Like it's not Zach Edey's fault. You don't have defenders who can stay with their guys on the perimeter.
Right.
It's not his fault. So I thought there's stuff that's rough. I mean, he's a rookie center in the NBA. There's going to be things that are sloppy. He's certainly not fleet of foot. And he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins' hands. They're a little bit closer to Bismack Biyombo's than DeAndre Hopkins. At the same time, like he did about everything you could want him to do at the end of that game.
Yeah,
we talked about before, like not his job to put the ball in the bucket.
But it is if he has a smaller guy on him.
If you're under, if he's under the basket, he's got to be able to put that ball in. Yes, but I'm not going to blame him for the ball not going through the bucket enough. And I thought he did. He got you enough possessions. He rebounded well enough, and he anchored well enough. Honestly, like in the paint, the Warriors had a tough time in that second half. I thought a much tougher time they did in the first half. I thought Edey did everything you needed him to do tonight. You just couldn't get enough out of everybody else. So first half was terrible for him, but it was pretty terrible for almost anyone not named John Morant and Desmond Bane, to be honest. Like everybody sucked in the first half.
Yeah, we'll give a shout out to Greer Gentry, who's been riding hard for Edey all year, and I get it. Once you're a fan, by all means, like till the wheels fall off. His opinion is simply, convinced that Taylor Jenkins, former coach, instilled a lot of bad habits that he might have to be able to get a summer to be able to get a full reset to get away from those bad habits. Who knows? But I hope that is something that happens is whatever coach comes in, I hope there is a full reset button because we need something.
I gotta say, I am with B Carter here.
You are B Carter, I think.
When he missed that dunk, I was like, oh my God, how? And then Santi turned around and did the same thing in the second half. Like you had two just like put backs. I'm like, how did those not go in? But again, it's in all seriousness, I thought Edey had better than good. They had a really good second half. Everything you needed from him. Just
I think he's fine. Unfortunately, I don't want fine. Just in general,
I don't. You shouldn't be starting a rookie center in the NBA.
That's the truth, and he's put in a bad position as a backup center. I would love it. Limited minutes, smaller role, and yes, he can come in there and just completely dominate at certain times. Whatever,
yeah, dude.
It's fine. He has a lot to learn. He is a rookie. I'm not going to be the tonight is not going to be on him at all, just in general. But I just wish this team played with a little bit more urgency. But overall, the Grizzlies end up losing 121 to 116. If you're watching this for the first time, thank you for hanging out. We do have a big numbers. We always do, whether it's Golden State Warriors fans coming in here or whether it is, Grizzlies fans staying up to the wee hours of the night. But this is Grizz 901. We do the live post-game show. We'll be live after every game throughout the rest of whatever it is of the postseason, whether it is just Friday night or whether it is going to be Friday night and then so on after that. So Nate and I will make sure we are here with you until the last show, no doubt. But if you're watching this over at BCM Grizzlies over at on Twitter, join us over at Bluff City Media on YouTube. If you're not seeing a lot of comments over there's not a ton of people that comment a lot on Twitter. But on YouTube, I promise you, I could bring up 500 real quick and show you. There's a lot more people like you that want to talk and want to comment. The community is very strong here within Grizz 101, but also within Bluff City Media. Let's take another pivot real quick.
Okay.
Marcus Murdoch is asking, is it a 7 p.m. start? I do not know that. I imagine we'll try to. I'd say we spend a few more minutes and we'll get into our Friday night look. It's an 8:30 start local time. So I just looked, 8:30 start on Friday night. Wayno says, guys, what am I going to do next season if you're not here? I might actually have to work.
That's classic.
It is Wednesday for Wayno and us, but Wayno's, I think, midday.
Also, just want to bring this up. Could not agree more with Art on this. Yeah. We are like, if there's any confusion, that is exactly what we were saying. Like from the rooftops, that is exactly what we were saying. It's not Edey's fault that he's a rookie center in the NBA, which is an extremely difficult position to try and play on a team who came into the season trying to contend until the franchise decided to sell at the draft and the deadline, apparently.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Yeah. Let's get through a little bit more of this. I think dissecting this is kind of where I stand. I want to talk through this because I think that's important stuff before we completely get to the next game, but I don't want to spend too much more time on it just overall. I look at Ja Morant, 22, 3-3, the 3-ball, 1 of 3. I didn't think that they would let him do that again. I thought they would make him get downhill, but then his injury, and at that point, it was a lot of middies. You're talking about Ja going 9 of 18 overall. I thought Ja's game was good. I think it was fine. I don't think there was anything that you would say, hey, he was amazing. I don't think he hurt you. I think he was the only chance that you had to win this game. And unfortunately, he goes down with injury, comes back and still, Superman Ja. But it just wasn't enough down the stretch.
No, it just wasn't enough. And, I mean, Ja isn't playing on half an ankle. Who knows what direction that game ends up going to. Yeah. I mean, that's just brutal to have that happen because he was in the zone. Dez was in the zone. You have them both out there playing like that at the same time. It's crazy, I mean, it's not even like anything crazy happened, right? It's not like, hey, I'm injury prone or something. It's just like, dude, you landed on another guy's foot. Just crazy.
Which sucks.
It's just crazy, so dude. But he came out and he did his thing. And listen, dude's a fighter. And he was there for it. He was totally there for it. I wasn't sure he was going to come back at all. I mean, that looked like it. That looked like it hurt. But he did. I'm not worried about him on Friday. Probably for different reasons than you though. So we'll talk
about that. Not worried about Friday.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Ja's ankle Friday.
You're not worried about it?
Mm-mm. We'll talk about why in a minute.
Okay.
When we get to it.
All right, we'll get to it. Last thing I want to hit on is, and I'm going to bring this up, one out of just being funny. But the other part is I thought he would played really well tonight, John Conchar.
Yeah,
And I thought that it made sense to go with him. And we talked about this. I'm pretty sure me and you talked about it. I know that I was asked a few times by different people, whether I was on the phone or whether it's on different shows or whatever. And they asked me what the Grizzlies should do now that, there's Jalen Wells is hurt and Vince Williams, who played 3 minutes, was a -6. He had 2 turnovers. Like it just, he's not right. Whatever reason, I don't want to get on him. But John Conchar, dude, he played well and he played within himself to the point of I would rather start him and be able to bring Scottie Pippen off the bench to be able to help you a little bit. You might have to have Scottie actually start if Ja doesn't play on Friday. But in general, I thought he played well. I know that a lot of people, do not like his game. He did not hurt you tonight. He only really helped you. But I want to give him some flowers just because, one, I enjoy watching Jitty play. But I just think he played really well tonight. I think he helped the team, and gave the team a lot of life late into that second half.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he just made the right play. It's what we talked about earlier today and last time on the show. It's like he's not going to do anything absolutely incredible for you. He's just going to be where he's supposed to be and do what he's supposed to do. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's what you want, right? I mean, that's what you need when a roster that what kills you is the unpredictability. Like, you don't know what you're getting out of guy A, B, C on a given night. And you do know what you're getting out of Conchar. That's why we talked about last game. Like, who would you go with, Vince or Jitty?
Right.
It's not even a question at this point, right?
Yeah.
So
Vince is out at this point. You can't play that bad in a play-in game right off the bat.
It's rough. Again, not indicative of how I think his career is going to go, but just the way this season has gone for Vince. I think he can have a massive bounce back season next year, but this season it's just done, which is highly unfortunate for a number of reasons. But yeah, man, Jitty just continues doing what he does. Just the magic conch, just doing what he needs to do. Also, he's like low key, sort of knocked down from 3 right now.
He is. He's shooting well in the last month, I believe.
37% on the season, I think, or something like that. So listen, if John Conchar can shoot 37% from 3 for you, then I'll take it. Yeah, man, does his job. I 100% think he should start on Friday. Really, no matter who they end up playing.
No doubt. But anyway, yes, it was a game. And I agree. Like, it's almost like, hey, I need a cigarette. I've never smoked in my life, but that's what it makes me. The whole, after you get done, it felt like 2 basketball games in one. So Major Powers, yes, I agree. Like, that's really what it felt like. It felt like it was just like, all right, at halftime, you're just like, all right, let me catch my breath.
We first off, give me some Marlboro menthols, and I'm like Matthew McConaughey in True Detective. I'm just like, I could totally.
Quick question: do they still have those crush ones? Remember when you you could crush them, and then that's when it would give you all the. Was it menthol or whatever it was?
I'm not up to date on what's there anymore. I stay away from that section of the supermarket on purpose. It's bad.
Anyway,
bad news bears.
I just remember it was one of those things that people would the Camel Crush. See, there you go, Major Powers. Man, me and you we're locked and loaded tonight. I've never smoked a day in my life. It's just not something I'm terrible at. I tried to do a cigar, and my friend had a conversation with me and told me never do that again because of the way I looked. But yes, it was. But I remember people having them back in the day, and that was one of those things. They're like, just squeeze that, and they would just suck in, I guess, all the nicotine or the menthol, whatever. At that point, anyway,
all the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
If my kid finds this in the future, I also never smoked a day in my life.
All right, let's go ahead and pivot a little bit to what is next. But tonight, it is early in the morning. This is I think this is going to be the latest show we do all season because it's already 12:36 as of right now. Hey, last thing, Craig, thank you for bringing this up. I thought this was great. Why no Lamar on Jimmy? I have my thoughts. So I want to hear yours first.
Honestly, I think they just sort of decided who they were going with this game, and that was that. I mean, I thought when they brought Vince in, when they played Vince and Luke, I'm like, you're already the too many guys.
Yeah, what were my friends at the party were yelling obscenities
Yeah.
and saying that was the dumbest thing they could do.
Yeah, like I'm like, you're already too many guys. So,
Right.
honestly, like it's not. I think it's just like if you're gonna do that, you're gonna roll with Conchar. I don't think it's anything against Lamar. It's just the same thing of what are you getting from Lamar that you're not getting from Jitty? And at this point, if Jitty's going to be making shots and doing little things like he was, I mean, he had those super nice back cuts tonight. It's like you're not going to get anything out of Lamar. You're not getting out of Conchar. And listen, Conchar is a coach's dude. Like everybody trusts him. But and at the end of the day, like Stevens is super tough nosed, does a lot of stuff really well. I was one of the guys who thought loved when they decided to bring him back in, but for better or for worse, the only guy you're possibly going to bring him in for is Jitty, who we just talked about why he wouldn't do that, or Santi. And for better or for worse, Santi's one of your best 8.
Yeah.
Just is. And again, I thought Santi did fine tonight. The 5 seconds call is going to make everyone think he sucked all night. But
all right, so hear me out. Hear me out. My opinion, I would have went small against them at times and then came differently and maybe played a bigger rotation. I think you can play a bigger rotation, but I think you can find a way to separate, Jaren and Edie. I think playing them together was fine. I think you can separate them, and I don't think you separate them as of right now with Santi unless the other team just cannot rebound at all, and Edie's able to play completely underneath the goal. I would have played Jaren with a Lamar Stevens because the reason is Lamar is bigger. He's 1 inch taller and pretty much the same size as Draymond Green, but also he can switch a lot cleaner, right? So the switches can be cleaner onto Jimmy Butler. And so I would have said, go ahead and remove Edie, go ahead and go smaller, remove some of that, switch Jaren out, put Edie in, and at that point, you can have a lot cleaner of rotations because they're 1-1. And so your rotations look to be where you're having one true center instead of having to play Jaren off. And that was the whole reason they put Edie on, on Jimmy, is to do that, to help out. Well, why not go ahead and just remove them and put them back in? The issue is the rebounding, but I think that Lamar can gang rebound enough, especially when you have somebody like, maybe Conchar that can help a little bit on the boards as well. I do think that they should have went with Lamar Stevens to see how he could play and switch a lot better against Jimmy, but also Draymond. And so I think that was a missed opportunity for sure.
It might have been, but the one thing, again, I don't think the coaching has just been knockout. But one thing I'll give him is he went in with a game plan and
he got beat in his game plan. I get it.
He did, but he also stuck with it to an extent, which is, hey, like we're going to play bigger than them, and we're going to see what that gets us. And in the second half, it worked. You just put yourself in such a hole in the first half. Like you buried yourself in that last half of the first quarter, first half of the second quarter. I mean, you just tanked yourself. You're playing catch up the entire game. Now they caught up super quick in the third quarter, which made it not feel that way. But I don't think the game plan from that perspective was trying. It's just like the execution was all over the place, and the guys had no idea what they're supposed to be doing in the first half until they were able to get settled in. That was where I thought the game plan fell apart. Was it took you a half to be able to get the guys understanding what they need to execute. But I think in theory, like that's a good theory, and I don't disagree. Like that would be nice to see. But in reality, what ends up happening is now you're throwing a 10th guy out there who didn't know if he was going to play tonight or not. And you're throwing him into really an absolute cluster at that point, which is not putting him in a good spot to succeed. And now it's like, okay, now you have another guy who doesn't know what they're doing. And you got another guy pulled who's not being able to figure it out while he's on the floor. It almost throws an extra wrench into the gears, in my opinion, to do that.
Okay, I agree and disagree. The only reason that John Conchar played tonight is because you had Scottie Pippen and Desmond Bane get into foul trouble. Okay, so if you look at John Conchar and Vince Williams, they played a total of 16 minutes. Okay. Get rid of those 3 for Vince and just give those extra 3 to Conchar. And he plays 16 minutes and you have an 8-man rotation. You get Lamar into that rotation. That might take away a little bit of the minutes from Santi, which I love Santi. I think what he gives you on the offensive end can be beneficial, but sometimes guys don't match up the right way. And I think this could have been where you gave 17 minutes to Luke Kennard. I know he hit one good 3-pointer, but I think that you could have switched out Lamar Stevens with Luke Kennard's minutes and maybe threw in, Luke Kennard and maybe instead of Jitty. And that either way, I think that you could have messed around with it. And you can always, as a fan and somebody that watches on TV, see it differently and see it without the pressure as the coach on the sideline who's actually in the moment. It is very tough to coach within the moment. Very hard. I don't ever want to jump on top of a coach's head too much. I will give criticism when criticism's due. I'm not going to say he's like horrible. He's the only reason we lost the game. I will not ever say that against the coach unless it's just blatantly obvious because coaching is really hard. And so at that point, I do think that these are game plans that you go in with. I don't think he made enough adjustments tonight. I don't know if he even made an adjustment other than maybe late into the fourth quarter, they started trying to attack Steph Curry more. But overall, it was a game that there wasn't much happening. And I just felt like we went too big. And that's why Jimmy Butler just got to the front of the rim whenever he wanted to.
Yeah. And again, I don't disagree with you in theory. I just think in reality, it's going to throw an extra wrench in it. That's the only reason I think you just throw another bit of chaos into something that was already total chaos for your team.
Yeah.
To be completely honest.
Yeah. Marcus is getting hot. I don't know if he's talking to us or somebody else, but he is laughing. Man, I can't with some of this chatter.
Rec League All-Stars.
In middle school or anything? Listen, I don't know who he's talking to. I don't think he's talking to us. I don't think I like Marcus. I don't think he's talking to us. If he is, by all means, let us know. I would love to come back at you. Don't come at me. But the Grizzlies, 116 to 121, a loss.
Yeah.
Let's head to the next game because I'm done with this game. Next game.
Sad bear.
Friday night. You're going to take on the Sacramento Kings or the Dallas Mavericks. 8:30 start locally. I don't know if it's on TNT. 1 second. It is on ESPN. It is a home game.
Hey there, Bobby. Name that movie.
Say that again.
Hey there, Bobby. I thought you on the ESPN.
That's not. It sounds like the ladies' man, but I don't think that's it.
It's Waterboy.
Oh, okay. So it's the ladies' man acting as Waterboy.
It might be actually.
Yes. All right. Your first take before we get into any of the breaking down the game. Do you want to win Friday?
Dude, that's why I'm not worried about this. I am completely unconcerned with Friday because I wanted the Grizzlies to win so badly tonight.
Oh, my God.
You could, one, beat the Warriors, which is always fun.
Yeah.
2, you can go into a series against Houston that I think you lose probably in less than 7. But you actually can give that team some games, right? Like you can actually go against that team, give them a run for their money, it feels like, right? And
poison or bleach?
Why not? Well, you know that taco commercial? Why not both? Just make sure you get the job done.
It is so late. I have the giggles.
Dude, I'm sitting there and I was like, okay, if you lose, you lose. And that super sucks. But also, if you win, you're going to lose. That's going to super suck 4 times, most likely in a row.
All right, I got a question. All right. Hear me out.
I got you.
You have to pick one. Friday night, you lose. It's a hard-fought game, but Ja Morant does not play. So they give it their best effort. Maybe Dallas and AD just dominates, the boards or whatever, and the Grizzlies lose. Or with or without Ja, the Grizzlies come out and look awesome, flying up and down the court. They very much look like they did Sunday, except for with the actual real team going against the Mavs real team. They come out, look awesome, but they lose in 5 games to OKC. Which one would you rather have?
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
That's the issue is like, I just don't see us beating, especially now with Ja being hurt.
Dude.
As Craig says, his laughter is therapeutic. And I'm laughing because it's just like Ja having the ankle injury. It's not.
That's another killer because it's like, okay, even if you win, you go into the series with Ja, who's hobbled.
You have Desmond Bane as your point guard.
Well, also, dude, like Wells is out, Clark is out. You can't play Vince. Like, okay, what are you gonna do? Put Scottie Pippen on SGA? What are you seriously? What's the plan? It's just like
Furious Styles wants the playoff experience, and so does Marcus.
For who?
That's the issue. I know you're getting the playoff experience, but like, is this not playoff experience?
And you're going in. It's not like even like it's realistic playoff experience. Like a lot of these young teams, you go into playoff experience, but your entire core is there. Everybody that you want to get those sort of like playoff scars and understand for the playoff game is there. But it's like the same thing. You're going to throw Zach Edey in there with no perimeter defenders, and he's just going to get tortured. And it's not even his fault. It's just that's the way the team is right now. So like, okay, you're really not even getting real playoff experience because everything that happens in that playoff series, outside of some small miracles, I don't think any of us can see actually happening. Yeah. All that playoff experience ends up going out the window anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know you're supposed you're supposed to really want to win, and like I just think it's house money. Like if they win, cool. Yeah. They win the game, they get to go. We get to watch our team in the playoffs, which is better than not. But if they lose, it's like, okay, I don't think you're losing much by losing, right? I think the reason that I'm anti-losing and like tanking is because you're putting in losing habits. You're constantly putting in losing habits. You're teaching a team to lose, and it gets that crap you see in Charlotte, like what we saw the other night. I don't think that's what happens here. I think you've played to win all season. You had it's midnight. You had a pretty shit game plan on trying to win all season with the team that you threw together, but you tried to win all year. And then at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. You blew up your roster essentially and tanked the season at the deadline. Now you get your lottery pick back, and I don't think you've lost much in doing that.
Austin says we need more ESOLO data.
No, we need more interviews set up.
King Meeks and Kip Gordon have the interviews already set up.
I don't dislike him. I don't think he's a bad coach. But it's the same thing as what I want out of my centers and my wings. I want experience.
Yeah.
Like I just want experience. That's it. I want experience. I want a coach that's been there before, that has been there in some way, shape, or form in the NBA.
Yeah.
And won. Like I want that badly. So I don't think he's a bad coach though. I mean, there's definitely worse options he could go with head coach, I would say. But yeah, I just don't know. I love to see him in the playoffs, but honestly, I'm like, I might just end up clawing my eyes out every game. But the roster you have to on the court. I mean, without Brandon and Jalen, you're just so behind the 8-ball, dog.
Well, Jay is very much in the court of Ja will be healthy by Friday.
I don't be healthy, but he'll be playing.
You think he'll play? So you had a take about Ja, and you didn't share earlier. You think Ja plays Friday?
Oh no, I did. I said I wasn't concerned, and the reason I'm not concerned is because I'm not invested in winning. That's it. And I honestly had no doubt that he was most likely going to play.
If I had to say, if you before the last game on potentially Friday or going into the playoffs, bringing up what Ryan's saying here. In the last 60 days, the Grizzlies went from second in the West to now potentially the 10th or the 8th seed or missing the playoffs completely.
Mm-hmm.
What letter grade would you give that?
F.
A complete F. No matter what happens Friday.
Yeah, because there's no reason for it to happen. I mean, everything post deadline is an F. And I think that the team followed the franchise's lead, and the franchise clearly sold on a season at the deadline.
Yeah.
You don't salary dump Marcus Smart and send Jake LaRavia for nothing to win. And the team followed suit.
All right, so listen, let's talk through this. I do have some questions, and chat by all means. I think it'd be a good exercise. Well, we're this late into the night. Why not? So the Grizzlies let go of the Grizzlies let go of Jake LaRavia. Okay, and they got nothing back for him, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So that move was for what reason? The franchise obviously made the decision. What was the reason the franchise made the decision to move on from Jake LaRavia, in your opinion?
I think they're just like, hey, all those minutes are going to Vince and Gigi from now on.
So you think the front office said, hey, Taylor, we know that you're playing this guy and we do not believe in them. Okay. The fans,
for sure.
The fans think the same way. So the fans are saying this, and then all of a sudden now the front office is making that same decision. It seems like they correlate a little too much. And at that point, was that the smartest decision that they could have made?
I didn't mind that part of it.
Okay.
I don't think I think obviously how it played out, Jake would have been able to give you better minutes this season, clearly.
All right.
But making room for Vince and Gigi is not crazy. Like, that's clearly where that needed to go. Like, those are the dudes who can contribute for you in the long term, who can become more than just an end of the bench guy. Which Jake had proven he belongs in the NBA, but as an end of the bench guy so far, right? But that's not the crazy part to me. Making room for that made all the sense in the world. It just didn't go well as far as that goes. Okay. What was crazy to me is trading the one guy over 30 on the entire freaking team, and you don't bring back anything for it. Like, you don't replace him with anything.
Yeah.
Like, that is screaming, we're going to develop more this year. That is not, we're going to try and win. And I was pretty clear before that. I didn't think there was a move out there that pushes you up to the OKC, Cleveland, Boston levels of contention. At the same time, like, there was moves to be made that could make you better, that could push you to where you're not dropping from 2 to 8. Right. And you can say what you want. I don't think the team's trying to lose on purpose or anything like that. But that sends a message to your team that we're not trying to win this year when you make a move like that. How else are you going to possibly take that?
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous thing to do.
Well, as Keith's saying here, is a financial move. They were concerned about the $20 million a year for Smart. So let me just, from my opinion, I think it was a financial move, but it has nothing to do with Marcus Smart, because this offseason you could have traded Marcus Smart for an actual piece and used his $20 million moving forward and not have to actually come off of a first round pick to get him off your roster in the midnight hour of the trade deadline. I think they went and completely overreacted, and they felt like they should dump him because that was their ABC plan. Like, that was their last plan. Like, hey, we have this in our back pocket. We'll pull the trigger if we need to. It just doesn't make sense why they did it. But then you start looking at the books a little bit on why their cap sheet looks the way it does. And as Keith's saying here, they're more concerned about the cap sheet than they are the playoffs. Because if you look at the cap sheet, if Jaren does not make an all-NBA team, which he very well could not, especially if nobody's put in their actual selections just yet. Because I know I've seen some put them out. I don't know if they've all actually decided on who they're
Ryan's
picking.
favorite people.
Yeah. But they haven't clicked and chosen their people. So he could potentially miss out on all NBA. He's definitely missing out on the defensive player of the year. So Jaren Now, if you go into this offseason, he has potential to sign an extension. Because of that, it's percentages of what you can give a guy plus what you have in your cap. And so if you're setting on Marcus Smart for 20 million, then you have less cap room to be able to sign Jaren. And so I think what they decided to do was come off of Marcus Smart, open up that cap room in a sense, right? Right when the season's over, you lose and you open up that cap space to be able to give Jaren enough money in case he does miss the All NBA and misses out on the max. You can give him enough money to actually keep him around, but it would be very beneficial for the franchise if he was to sign something like that. So, long story short, I think it was all about the cap space and the cap room of what they're looking at, just in case he didn't make All NBA. Because as right now, he's definitely not making it.
Yeah. Well, your job is to make moves and not salary dump Marcus Smart for nothing, and to give up a first round pick to have to do it. Like, same thing. It's like, hey, like your job as Desmond Bain is to make shots, and we judge you on whether you make those shots or don't make those shots. Your job as a GM is to make moves to improve this roster and not salary dump like one of your most tradable contracts, or it should be, and attach a first round pick to do it. And guess what? That's what you did. And it was clearly a losing move. So, again, it doesn't necessarily have to impact this team all the way going forward in the future, but clearly it's screamed to the team, hey, we're not trying to compete this year.
Yeah.
And then they didn't for the entire season after that.
I agree. And it's sickening now because we're here at this point. You just play your first playing game, an incredible game just overall. I think it was a game that lived up to everything. When the Grizzlies jumped out to the very beginning of the game, they jumped out to that hot start, and then you have the steamroll that was the Golden State Warriors, and then the Grizzlies fight enough to cut it to where it's close enough at halftime. Then we have a decent game, and then just to come up short sucks because now you're in the position that we're talking about, where we're talking about next year, potentially. So I don't know. Last thoughts, because I don't want to spend too much more time on this because we do have Friday. I believe, from my understanding, there will be another Bluff City Media watch-along party Friday night at Ghost River Brewing. So if you are in town, if you're able to get there Friday night, they will have another watch-along party. That's the conversations are being had already, and I believe that they're trying to go ahead and lock that down early. So, in all honesty, if you have a chance to get out, I'm going to try to do my best to get out there again to say hello to everybody. Do me a favor, come say hello. I will make sure that I try to talk to as many people as I can. But there's, I'm just looking at just random people that I've never seen their faces, and so you might have seen mine. So if you've seen my face, you recognize me. Please come say hello. But final thoughts on the game, because it's going to suck Friday no matter what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it was, like I said, I thought it was a really good game. I think that the officiating was out of pocket for what should be a playoff game. And again, not all those calls went the Warriors' way. Towards the end of the fourth quarter, they were trying to sell for the Grizzlies, clearly. Yeah. But really good game. I thought your best players played to their best. I thought you saw some good things out of guys you want to see good things out of, like Edey and Pippen tonight. Yeah. At the end of the day, I think the Warriors just showed up a little bit more. Yeah, Jaren had a rough night. There's no way around it, man.
I like Mascate News 1. Welcome again. Hello. But the fact is, the whole booty word always gets me. Jaren was kind of booty. Not to pile on Jaren, the booty word just always gets me. I'll always give a chuckle.
Yeah, not an inaccurate descriptor.
Yeah, Friday night is coming. Who do you expect that wins the next game?
Don't care. Anthony Davis, I'm assuming, is playing.
Yes.
I don't know. Kings.
Okay.
Kings question mark. I don't know.
All right. So make sure you go and go to the game. It will be a home game. I forgot about it being a home game. So yes, home game. Why would we do that? Well, maybe we'll do both. Maybe we'll be able to have a watch along party and there will be an actual play-in game at home. So welcome to everybody that watched tonight. Thank you all for hanging out with us. This is Grizz 901. We do the live post-game show. We'll have one again on Friday night. But that's it. Nate, you've been a gem tonight, sir. A gem.
Sweet.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's midnight for you. So where everybody is officially in the next day. So happy Wednesday to everybody. Everybody be safe out there. Get to work in the morning, people. Go ahead and do not hit the snooze button. But we'll see everybody Friday night right here at Grizz 901. Be nice and tell your friends.